Hello, everybody, and thank you for joining me. This is Ciara from Ciara T Designs, and today I have the last video in the Spooktember set, and I wanted to finish it with a 5-card set, so let's jump right in. So as per usual, I am going to cut down all of my cardstock. I did start with some A2 bases, which are 4 1/4 by 5 1/2, and then my black mat will be about 1/8 of an inch smaller than my base, and then my water, or I guess it's a HammerMill panel, will be about 1/4 of an inch smaller than the base. I do kind of eyeball my measurements, so that's about as close as I can give you, but there's no right or wrong here. Just kind of aim for whatever border you like. I really like a thin border. I like the look. I feel like it frames what I'm doing and it helps the colors pop, but you don't need it. You could absolutely just work on a full-sized panel and that would still look great. I just like the black mat, so that's something that I like to add to my cards. So these cards were inspired by a card that Pete Hughes made on the Sizzix channel. I want to say like 2 years ago. It was a while ago. And he did this really cool blending technique with distress inks. And then he used adhesive spray and added glitter. And I fell in love with them. And so when I saw the witch die and I just thought that this would be such a cool way to use the technique that he used in that video and kind of create it, make it my own. So that is very inspired by him. He is a part of the Sizzix team. He's on the Sizzix channel. If you guys don't know who he is, he works with a lot of the Tim Holtz Sizzix dyes and a lot of great stuff on that channel. So if you've never heard of him or that channel, go and check out the Sizzix channel. It's pretty great for inspiration. So I'm going to start with cutting out the witch die. So this is from the Vault Wicked that came out for Halloween. So it's the witch silhouette and then the broom. And I'm going to cut out both. And I'm new to the magnetic mat from scrapbook.com. So I haven't quite gotten my sandwich exact yet. And so I do have like little areas that I'm not cutting through all the way. I've rectified that since I made this card set. But at this time, it was like the second time I'd used that mat. And I didn't quite have my sandwich correct. So it wasn't cutting all the way through. So that's nothing to do with the mat or my machine or anything like that. It's just, you know, when you bring in new things, sometimes you have to kind of, especially with die cutting machines, you really have to work on your machine specifically, just because sometimes you just have to add a little, for me personally, when they're not cutting properly, I usually just add a cardstock shim and I just put it underneath the magic mat, and that usually solves my problems. And that's exactly how I fixed this problem. I just added a cardstock shim underneath, and it was like a leftover piece that I had cut for a slimline base. So it's not even perfect. It just gives it that touch more pressure that it needs, and then it seems to cut beautifully. So I have rectified the issue since then. And this is the magnetic mat. One side is magnetic, one side is magic, and I just flip it depending on what I'm doing. So for the moon, which is what I'm cutting out next, this is from the Tim Holtz Moonlight dies. So it was last year's Halloween release, I believe. It comes with 2 sizes of the moon and then a whole bunch of bats. And it's a great die set. Like I love the Tim Holtz die sets. I feel like they're incredibly versatile, and I tend to purchase like the whole set of them because I will continue to use them year after year, and I still find so many fun ways to use them. So here I'm just showing you all of the ink colors I intend to use. I'm only going to show you like 2 of the color blends, but they're all done the exact same way. It's just that I'm going to change out the colors. So for this one that you're going to see here, I'm using Squeezed Lemonade and Carved Pumpkin to do the moon. Now the background of the moon is watercolor cardstock because I wanted more texture. You could do the whole moon in watercolor. I only did the back part because I wanted that fun texture behind the moon piece. And then the panel is HammerMill and the moon detail layer is HammerMill. So, I mean, you can cut them out of any cardstock you can blend on. It really doesn't matter. And then I'm going to bring in the Carved Pumpkin. So I did a layer of the lightest color on the moon base, and then I'm going to come in with the darkest color and just add it around the edge to give the detailed area a little more interest. And I do leave the center of the moon piece clear, like white. I didn't do anything there. And then I bring in whatever my darkest color is, and then I blend across the panel. Now I am using flat foams for this, and I only own the Distress inks in minis. So this would go a little faster if you had, the bigger pads. You probably wouldn't have to add as much color as I do as often as I do. But there's no wrong way to this. I don't think the flat foams are the best for blending. However, they're the easiest to store with the minis. So I do keep them on hand. Normally I would never start on the panel for blending, but I knew the moon was going to cover a big portion of this, so I wasn't really worried if I got spots where the foam kind of made funny areas. And then I did splatter on some water, and I am going to blot it off. I just want that texture. This again is an extra step. You don't need it. It's just that I love texture in my stuff, so I did want to add that. And then here for the second color that I'm going to show you, I used Shaded Lilac and Villainous Potion in the Distress Ink minis. So for the other colors, I used Tumbled Glass and Uncharted Mariner, Kitsch Flamingo and Worn Lipstick, and Salvaged Patina and Evergreen Bough. So all of the colors are always linked and listed down below if you're ever interested in one specifically and you missed hearing me say it or I missed saying it. They're always linked and listed. Like everything I use is always down in the description. So make sure you go check that out if you're at all interested. And they are all the Distress Ink minis. You could use oxides for this, but oxides are more opaque and give you more of a chalky finish, whereas the Distress Inks are translucent. So you get I feel like it's almost a more ethereal look. And for this design, that is what I was going for. Now, I am really, really sorry that my camera's jiggling around like this. I am reworking on my whole filming setup. And so I had moved my desk. And now that I had moved it, I hadn't pushed it against the wall again firmly. So my camera's moving a little bit as I blend. And I'm so sorry. I know that's irritating and hard to watch. So I'm really sorry about that, guys. Generally, I'm better about that, but I'm trying to improve my setup. So it moved and I didn't notice it right away. So you shouldn't see that going forward because hopefully I have upgraded my setup and it's, looking pretty great, but we'll see. I'm still working on it. And then I did bring in the witch and the broom, and I'm just adhering the broom to her hand and her hat. Those are kind of the 2 points that are touching the broom because it was the easiest. There's no right or wrong here. This is just kind of what I went for. And you only get to see the making of 4 of these because I did make one in advance. That's the blue one that I used Tumbled Glass and Uncharted Mariner on. It was my demo card because I didn't really know what I was doing. I knew what I wanted the end result to look like, but I wasn't totally sure how to get there. So I did use one of the cards as kind of my demo card, and I worked through how I wanted everything to be set up, what it wanted to look like, where I wanted the colors, that kind of thing. So you don't get to see me work on the blue card, but I did make the blue card as well. It's just, it's kind of my demo card. And now this is something that Pete Hughes did, and this was just phenomenal. I love it. He used an adhesive spray, and be very aware that you want to be in a well-lit ventilated area. I had a window open, I had a fan going, that kind of stuff, just because it is, a spray and they can be a bit toxic. So just be careful. And then he coated it in rock candy glitter, and I loved it so much. He did it with a tree line. But I loved it so much, and I really wanted to do it for these moon pieces. So that's what I've done. I've sprayed them with an adhesive spray. I used Tacky, I believe it's called. And I just, sprayed them, and then I covered them in the rock candy glitter. And then I'm going to set them aside. I'm going to let them fully dry, which I don't know exactly how long that is. I just walked away for a while and then came back. And then I, took them to my garbage can and smacked them on the side so that the glitter would fall off. You will end up with some excess glitter floating around for a little bit. That doesn't bother me. I know some people really don't like that. So you might be better to maybe cut the moon out of a glitter cardstock and then try inking it. You could try that. I've never tried that. I'm not sure if that works. I know you can use an alcohol ink marker and color glittered cardstock, but I personally have never tried to ink it. So I assume it would work, but I've never tried. So you would have to give that a go if that's something of interest to you. But I just use a Swiffer duster and I just clean up the excess glitter, and I have no issues. So completely up to you and what you are comfortable with. I find that the rock candy glitter is not staticky, so it doesn't, float around and try to stick to everything. It just sits on my desk and it's pretty easy to clean up. So I have no issues working with it, and I love the look. So it's pretty great. I don't think that the camera ends up doing this rock candy glitter justice. I will hold up all the cards at the end, and they are all incredibly stunning, but I don't think that you catch quite as beautiful as that glitter is. So watch out for my Instagram reel when I hold them up and give you like a more in-depth look at each one of them. Just because, or it'll be on here too. It'll be on YouTube. It'll be a short, probably sometime this week. Because I have been trying to do daily reels, if you guys have noticed. Every day I put up a new card that I've made or project, whichever. And it's just been a really fun way to showcase things that I've made. And then you kind of get a more in-depth look at everything. So, but yeah, I love how these turned out. I think they turned out amazing. So now I'm just going to adhere my layers of the moon, and they don't match perfectly. The circle and the moon piece, but I don't care about that kind of stuff. That doesn't bother me. If you watch Tim Holtz stuff, you know that they don't line up perfectly. He wanted an imperfect circle, and that's perfectly fine with me. Doesn't bother me at all. It might bother you, in which case, if it does, just trim down the excess moon piece. That's fine. And I'm just going to adhere them and stack them up, and then I'm going to bring it in and start stamping it. So for the future, this is the last Halloween card for this year. I am doing a live stream on the 31st, so we'll see what happens. It's just how it fell in my schedule. But I go into Christmas now. So October 7th is my first Christmas video for the 12 weeks of Christmas series that I've been doing for the last 5 years. I don't even know. And I do like a whole array of Christmas cards. So every Monday video will be a Christmas card. I'm really sorry my head gets in the way here. I'm just trying to nestle that happy Halloween in with the design. But yeah, every project on Mondays as of the 7th of October, which I guess is actually next week, will be Christmas themed. So if you like Christmas projects and you're really interested, please come back. Please stick around. My channel is growing, and that's incredibly exciting. It's wonderful to see new people coming to the channel. And I mean, it's always amazing to have all my peeps who've been with me since the beginning come by and leave me comments. I greatly appreciate all of you. And it's just really exciting to watch the channel grow. So if you enjoy my content and you want to see what's coming, please come back and, visit again. Please subscribe to the channel if you're at all interested. I do a lot of creative videos, and I have a lot of fun plans coming forward. I'm hoping to add art journaling to the channel in October. That's kind of one of my hopes. And then I'm hoping, we're going to see how this all goes, but I'm hoping in January to do watercolor videos. So we'll see how it goes. I've got a beginner series in the works. It's just going to take me a while to, create the videos, edit the videos, because that's just kind of a different style of tutorial, of teaching. So bear with me as I learn how to navigate that. But that is, in the works. And yeah, so I have a lot of fun stuff coming to the channel, I think. So hopefully you guys want to stick around and check out what I'm up to and see all the fun projects I'm working on. And I would greatly appreciate that. So thank you. And yeah, so we're just going to adhere all of the cards together. This is pretty much the end of what we have to do with the cards. We're just going to layer them up. But of course, if you know me, you know that I'm going to add a little bit of bling because I cannot stop myself and I love all the shiny things. So I brought in these stars and I just added a couple around the design just because I love how they look. No rhyme or reason. You don't need them. They don't. If they weren't there, they wouldn't take away from the card design. But I love these holographic stars. They're just so fun. And Halloween seems to be a really fun time to add them to cards because I think they just look really pretty. So I did add 5 across the panel just because I like uneven numbers. I think they look really good. And yeah, so that's pretty much the whole card design. And then I'm going to I'm going to do some white detailing as well. You guys know, if you've been with me for a minute, you could absolutely leave the card here and it would look phenomenal. However, I have started to love white highlights on all my die cuts, and this kind of rim lighting I've been doing with the white gel pen, it adds so much fun detail. Now, it's not necessary if you're not comfortable with the idea or you don't like the look, no problem, don't add it. But I just think that it adds a little more interest and life to the project. So I have been really enjoying adding it. And I've kind of, in this instance, kind of given it, you know, like I've shaped the dress a little bit. I've shaped the shoes. I gave the hat a little bit of its own shape. So it was kind of a fun way to just add a little more interest into the silhouette as well. But there's no wrong way. This card is stunning regardless. Like if you are not down with the white gel pen, that's okay too. You know, make it your own, no problem at all. My whole goal on my channel is to, you know, make crafting seem fun and give you guys ideas to take to your own projects that you can then make your own. So completely up to you. But I love the way the white highlight looks, and you'll see it here in a second when I hold them up, what I've kind of done there. But yeah, I am so incredibly happy with how these cards turned out. So yeah, I'm over the moon. Do you get it? I love how they came together. I hope you guys enjoyed it too. Let me know your thoughts. I would love to know, and leave any comments or questions you have for me at any time. It does take me a little bit of time to respond to comments. If you guys have noticed, if you've been commenting on my videos, I have been responding to them lately. I'm trying to respond to a bunch of comments every day because that kind of makes it a little less overwhelming when there's this many comments. But I love hearing what you guys are up to and what you're thinking and what you're creating and all that kind of stuff. So please leave a comment, leave a like, let me know what you're thinking, and please subscribe if you enjoy my channel. I would love that so much. If you made it all the way to the end of the video, please leave me a moon in your comment so I can see who's been watching. Thank you so much, guys, and I will see you again very soon. Bye-bye for now.